Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of the College of Engineering Virtual Brown Bag Series. We're excited today to welcome several people from our EpICMavs and Entrepreneurship area. The UTA ecosystem provides many opportunities to help entrepreneurial-minded students successfully build a business. Our experts are going to tell you about several resources and mentoring opportunities that you can take advantage of here at UTA to launch and grow your own business. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items. First of all, if you have a question during today's presentation, please use the question bar on the top right-hand side. Your questions will appear on the right, and we'll get to them as soon as we can after the presentation. Also, you can see the full schedule of virtual brown bags, including past ones and today's after the event's over. If you go to our website, the link is actually in the Q&A box right now, so feel free to check that out. And now, without further ado, I'll introduce our speakers for the afternoon. First, we have Teri Schultz. She's the Director of Innovation and Commercialization here at UTA. Courtney Torres is the Special Programs Coordinator for Innovation and Commercialization. Patrick Alcorn is Director of the Veterans Business Outreach Center and the U.S. Small Business Administration. And Kim Mayer is Associate VP for Research and Interim Executive Director of the Center for Entrepreneurship and Economic Innovation. So all that said, I'm going to turn it over and we'll go ahead and get started.
So hello everyone, I'm Teri Schultz and I'm the first to get to speak to you today about our entrepreneurship ecosystem on campus and my role in that ecosystem. So as Jeremy said, I am the Director of Innovation and Commercialization on campus. That is our tech transfer office. And what that means is that we are responsible for managing inventions that are created on campus as a result of research conducted by faculty, students, and others in our labs. That might be research that's funded by federal agencies or other sponsors, or just research that the faculty's undertaking in their labs. And a lot of times graduate students and even undergraduate students work on those research projects. And so when inventions come out of that research, we have a process, and it's actually a requirement under the UT system IP policy and our IP policy that those inventions be disclosed to our office so that we can manage them. And sometimes faculty and student inventors want to start their own company to commercialize that technology. And that's another part of our responsibility in our office in INC, is to commercialize or manage the commercialization of the inventions that are created on campus. And so we do that by, we conduct marketing activities, we reach out to sponsors who have funded the research, or just other companies that we think might be interested in commercializing the technology. And then we manage the process of doing the license agreements with those companies, including startup companies, so that they can work on, those companies can work on commercializing the technologies and making products that are offered for the benefit of society, so for people to buy those products. And so we get invention disclosures that range from all kinds of topics and technologies in engineering and in the sciences and all kinds of things. So how we interact with faculty and students who are interested in starting a company is they would start by letting us know they're interested in starting a company to commercialize an invention created at the university. And then my team will discuss with them what they're thinking about doing. We like to get some kind of information from the company about their plans, meaning their commercialization plans, the timelines, what they think they'll be working on to get, because it takes a lot to get a product on the market there's a lot of, you have to create prototypes and test them a lot of times, and so we like to know that timeline so that we can prepare the license agreement to include those timelines, and so that everybody, that helps us know that the company's going to really be working on getting this on the market. So so you start talking to us and we'll talk with you through those things. And there are other resources that you can tap into on campus to help you develop that kind of information, to validate your business plan, your business model, to figure out if this really is a product that somebody's going to buy, which might require some customer discovery. You might want to talk to people who might be your customers to see if they really want this kind of thing. So there's a lot of things that go into having a startup and trying to commercialize a technology. And we can point you to the resources that might help you get there. So besides entering into the license agreement with the university through our office, and then we would manage that license agreement, and you would provide reports to us about how you're progressing and developing the product and that sort of thing. Besides those things, we also are part of a program called VMSNTX, and that stands for Venture Mentoring Service of North Texas. And that's a program that we started almost a year and a half ago in collaboration with UT Southwestern and UT Dallas. And it's a mentoring service that is team-based mentoring that's based on a program started by MIT about 20 years ago or more. And it's been very successful for MIT, and UT system helps support the three institutions in the North Texas region, UT Southwestern, UT Dallas, and UT Arlington, going to be trained in the MIT model so that we can have the same kind of program here in North Texas. So like I said, it's team-based mentoring, which means you're assigned a team of mentors, and that team can change throughout your time in the program. This program is really designed to develop the entrepreneur, and so the entrepreneur has the control and the responsibility to schedule their meetings with their mentors, to conduct their meetings with their mentors. We expect the teams to create an agenda of every meeting so that we're efficiently using the mentor's time and your time. And so you'll have a specific thing you're working on, or maybe a specific milestone you're trying to reach for your venture, and your team of mentors will help talk you through that and help advise you on what you need to do to meet that milestone, or address the challenge you're having or something like that. And your team might change. You might have specific needs at a specific time, and we can bring in a mentor that's really an expert in a certain area that you might need help with at a specific time. So, and this is a program that is no cost to the ventures. And we have I think around 30 mentors at this time that are part of the program, that are ready to sign on to help ventures and to spend their time and use their expertise to help guide and mentor ventures and the entrepreneur himself or herself to develop you as an entrepreneur. So whether your venture is successful or not, you're developing as an entrepreneur and learning how to be an entrepreneur, how to think as an entrepreneur, so that maybe your next venture might go better. But hopefully your mentors will help you be successful in this venture. So that's a resource that we have available. You can participate as long as you want in that program, as long as your mentors are giving you value. There's no cohort. It's not a time limited thing. You start when you're ready to start, and you stay in the program as long as you want. And then another thing I wanted to talk about is our partnership with Tech Fort Worth. So UT Arlington has a partnership with Tech Fort Worth, We've been working with them for about the past, I think, 6 or 7 years. Tech Fort Worth is a programs-based incubator that's located in Fort Worth, and their programs are are more or less sequential, starting with a 12-week cohort where you really in-depth work on your business model, validating your business model, your value proposition, customer discovery, you know, that first part of starting a company where you're really figuring out, do I really have something here? They have a program that's a 12-week cohort where you can go through that and work with them together to kind of figure that out. And then from there, you go into the next step where it's more in depth and you're building your business, and then the third. So as part of our partnership, startup companies that are developing UTA technology, including faculty or student startups, can go through Tech Fort Worth programs at no charge. That's part of our partnership. And there are some other things that Tech Fort Worth helps us with that Courtney's going to talk about today. But in order to take advantage of the Tech Fort Worth programs as a UTA startup, you would access that through our office. So you would contact our office and let us know we are interested in working with Tech Fort Worth. And you can talk to, even without going through their programs, they are available to advise as well. So if you just wanted some advice about your startup, they'd be the people at Tech Fort Worth would be available to meet with you and answer your questions and give you some advice. You can also access that through our office. So that just helps us kind of know what Tech Fort Worth is doing for us as by virtue of our partnership with them. So and we're in contact with them all the time. And so that's how you access Tech Fort Worth, and also VMSNTX. If you're interested in getting into that program, you just contact our office and we will start the process of getting you into that program. There's a little bit of a vetting process where you get a little bit of training about how to utilize VMSNTX. So with that, I think I've talked about 10 minutes, so I'll pass it on to Courtney and look forward to answering any questions that you have as we continue. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Courtney Torres. I am the Special Programs Coordinator for Innovation and Commercialization, which is Teri Schultz's department. Our department is very interesting because we are really focused on bridging gaps throughout the university. So Teri mentioned that we have an entrepreneurship program called EpICMavs. EpICMavs meets every Thursday. Normally we meet in person. This past year we've gone virtual, which has been actually a lot of fun. We've been able to open the doors virtually to people anywhere. We've got attendees joining us from Oklahoma, Mexico, California. So it's been really, really fun to kind of bring an international linkage to our programming here in North Texas. So I'm excited to be here. We really want to spread awareness about EpICMavs. EpICMavs is a free entrepreneurship program. It's open to anybody that's interested in entrepreneurship. So if you're somebody that has an idea, or you're working in engineering and you're developing something as a graduate student that might, have potential to become a startup company, or maybe you're just somebody looking for freelance work, EpICMavs is going to be a great place for you to start. You get to know people that is in a different college than you. You make connections with people outside of UTA. So we really focus on bridging gaps, not only internally at UTA, but externally. We try to open doors for other nonprofit organizations, including Tech Fort Worth. So Tech Fort Worth is our partner. They help us to develop programming for multiple programs through EpICMavs. We have our speaker series, which meets every Thursday. Now that we're virtual, we meet on Microsoft Teams. So join us tomorrow for our meeting tomorrow. I'll let you know a little bit about that later. But yeah, every Thursday, join us on Microsoft Teams. We work with Tech Fort Worth to bring a variety of speakers. Our guest speakers are usually entrepreneurs that have had successful businesses, but also not so successful businesses. We like to get down to the nitty-gritty and to understand what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. Not only someone that can start a business, but that can grow and scale it, develop it, and bring your business to life. So we really want to help you go from ideation to that full development. And that's the great thing about EpICMavs, is because we're so inclusive. You can be at any phase in entrepreneurship and it's open to you. So you don't have to be somebody that is in a certain program at UTA. You don't even have to be a student. So if you know somebody in your family or other friends that are interested in starting a business, bring them on. It's open to everyone. We're online, completely free. And then during the summer, we have a deep dive program. EpICMavs Deep Dive is a startup accelerator. We work with Tech Fort Worth to curate 6 to 7 weeks of programming to help you to bring your startup company to life. So take your ideas, bring it to EpICMavs, work on building it every week with our speaker series, and then go into our deep dive and really set the roots to bringing that company to life. What is it going to take to scale your business? We don't necessarily have assignments during our speaker series, but if you choose to work on it, you're going to have more potential to work on things during deep dive. With our deep dive program, we ask you to work on certain assignments that you can work with your team of developers. So you can meet with your team. It's all up to you. Entrepreneurship is great because it's up to you. You can do anything with entrepreneurship, but you have to put your mind to it and you have to set a goal for your future, and to put it together, you have to work at it. So we're going to put those tools in your hands to be able to help you develop your business. It's really exciting because it's free. EpICMavs doesn't charge any entry fees. You could be at any level of entrepreneurship, but we also link you to other services and resources outside of UTA. This year we worked with Techstars, who had Startup Weekend, which was a startup competition. It did have an entry fee, but you can win prizes. We also work with Mass Challenge Texas. That's a pitch competition, which is really, really fun. You can win some really, really awesome monetary rewards for your business, for your ideas. They help you to really get funding and to put that money towards actionable items. So those services do have a cost, but it's external from UTA. So that's up to you, whatever stage you're at, if you're interested in doing that. And then, sorry, I know I'm trying to get through a lot and speaking kind of fast because we're kind of short on time, but we don't really have any expectations for our attendees. When I say that, it's because it's up to you. If you want to show up and do the work, that's up to you. We're not going to grade you. This isn't a class. It's completely optional. It's continuing education for the development of your business. So that's up to you. Whatever you want to do, it's on you. So my expectations are that you show up and that you're willing to engage. I want you to meet people outside of your normal realm. Get to know people that are in different colleges around the university. We've got, students from engineering working with students that are in communications, because yeah, I might be an engineer, but I don't know anything about marketing or social media. So EpICMavs is going to help you to build friends and build these relationships that can help you to bring your company to life. So those are our expectations. You don't have to submit anything to be a part of our program. We just want you to have fun and to learn, and yeah, join us tomorrow. We are going to do a 60-minute website. So we meet for an hour at 4:30 every Thursday. We invite a guest speaker from different industries, different backgrounds. So we're very diverse in that because you can be from any type of industry and you're welcome to EpICMavs. So tomorrow we have the marketing director from Tech Fort Worth. She will be going over how to build a website in 60 minutes. So if you're someone that's trying to learn, hey, where do I start? Is GoDaddy good? What can I do to develop a website? I don't have much experience in this. Let's figure that out tomorrow. We'll have a roundtable discussion starting at 4:30 on Microsoft Teams. If you want to join us, email me at startup@uta.edu. And that's it.
Well, greetings, everyone. I'm Patrick Alcorn, and I'm the director at the Veterans Business Outreach Center here at the University of Texas at Arlington. I am located, my office is located in the College of Business on the 6th floor in room 635. My office is your connection to the resources at the federal level through the U.S. Small Business Administration. My office specifically is designed to work with those individuals who are military connected and in transition. So if you've served on active duty or you're in the reserves, you're a veteran of any of the branches, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, even U.S. Coast Guard, and or you are a military spouse, that is the primary role of my office, to assist you in starting and growing businesses. But because we're on the university campus, we're also a university asset for you, and we're your connection to those resources available to you at the federal level. Before I cover those resources, I want to make sure that you look inside the chat. And if you're a veteran and or a military spouse or any way connected to the military, my office facilitates a 2-day Entrepreneur Bootcamp course. And that course is done both virtually online and live at the local military installations. I cover Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, so it could be any of those installations. But in any sense, you can see the calendar for those courses that I've placed in the chat. If you're not military connected, then what I do is direct you to the extension of our resources. Keep this in mind. Just about every business, and it's rare that they don't, every business starts off as a small business. And the U.S. Small Business Administration is the federal appointed authority for all things small business. They help you with 3 specific things, and a 4th one that I'll name that'll become obvious to you in the end. But the SBA helps you with counseling, the education and training and information that you need to start and grow a business and to be an effective business owner. That's C, we call it the 3 C's, so that's C number 1. C number 2 is access to capital, the money that you need to start and grow your business. Although the SBA is not necessarily a direct lender, in other words, the money doesn't come through the SBA, they have multiple lending partners that can give you access to the capital that you need to start and grow your business. And they have several lending programs that can guarantee funding up to 85% for domestic loans and up to 95% on international loans across the board. And so that's the 2nd C, is access to capital. And the 3rd thing, the 3rd C, is contracting. In other words, government contracting. When the federal government spent over $600 billion alone last year on goods and services. So if you have a product or service that is used by the federal government or any of its agencies, the SBA's job is to help you make the federal government and any of its agencies one of your customers. So that's the 3rd C, which is government contracting. The 4th one, which I'll just mention briefly, and that's in a disaster scenario. And you're seeing that right now in the midst of this coronavirus environment. In that case, the SBA does become a direct lender, and they have access to grants, access to loans and things of that nature. When you find yourself in a disaster scenario as a small business owner, the SBA, along with FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, they all come together to help businesses to make it through disaster scenarios. So the thing that I would point out to you is that I've already put a link in the chat session regarding the SBA.gov. That's the overall website, but the things that I want to point you to on the website is the first one is local assistance. I know you're right here in Arlington, but not everybody's from Arlington and not everybody's going to remain in Arlington. So regardless of where you go, the SBA is available. And when you're at the SBA.gov website, you can click on the link at the top of the website called Local Assistance, and you can find assistance wherever you are in any state in the U.S. and on the continental U.S. and even outside of the continental U.S. and territories that the U.S. owns. What type of local assistance am I talking about? I'm talking about folks like small business development centers. Small business development centers are free resources that are located on community college campuses and college campuses all across the nation. And these are free resources to help you build and develop your business plan. This is an organization that maintains relationship with local lenders. So when you get into the lending process, they can help identify and pinpoint for you which lenders are lending in your industry and in your vertical. There are certain lenders that give money to restaurants. There's certain lenders that give money to automotive repair shops. There's certain lenders that give money to IT consultants. Well, before you just go out there with a shotgun and blast trying to hit every lender out there, the SBDC can help you drill down and pinpoint and identify lenders that are lending in your particular space. Then there's SCORE. They used to be called the Service Corps Retired Executives, but they're just called SCORE now. These are retired executives. These are people who've been there and done that. They've owned their own businesses or they've been in the C-suites, the executive suites of major corporations and so forth. And they have volunteered to serve as mentors. So again, this is free programming for you and free training and education for you. These are individuals who will come stand side by side with you to help you get your business up and running, offering free counseling and free support. These mentors are in every vertical and in every area of your business. So keep in mind when you're working with SCORE, you don't have to stick with the mentor that's originally given to you. There are over 11,000 of these mentors nationwide. And if you're doing something, say, in the television industry, maybe your mentor is in California, right? You're in Texas, but your mentor is in California. Well, there's enough technology and virtual technology for you to continue working with that particular mentor. Maybe you're doing something in manufacturing and you need some support with manufacturing. Well, UT has Teri and that whole system over in there associated with it, but you have SCORE mentors who have expertise in the manufacturing field, who can mentor you to help you stand up your manufacturing business across the board. So that's SCORE, that's the SBDC. If you want to do government contracting, they have the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. We have one located here right on the university campus. As well as part of the university system called Cross Timbers Procurement Technical Assistance Center. So if you want to make the government or any of its agencies one of your customers, they can help you find those contracts. They can help you connect you with those organizations that have contracts and are sending out what we call RFPs or requests for proposals for you to do business with that particular agency. Or wherever you go, if you use that link that I put in the chat for local assistance, you can find all of those agencies, and all of those agencies provide free support from the federal level. And then there's the Women's Business Center, much like my office, which is focused and drilled down on veteran and military connected entrepreneurs. The Women's Business Centers is focused and drilled down on women entrepreneurs. But they help, just like we also help more than veterans in our space because we're on a university campus, they help more than women, but their primary focus is women. So those are your primary SBA resources. The other thing I'd point out to you at the SBA website is the SBA Learning Center. It's an on-demand library. It's a video library that you can tap into where you can just on demand at your leisure, you can take on-demand courses to learn about different areas and different things about business. You want to learn how to do a business plan, but you're not in the college business taking a business course, or the course that you're taking doesn't teach business planning. or you can take a 25 to 30-minute on-demand course at the SBA Learning Center that will teach you all about business planning. You can take a course all about social media marketing, a course all about access to capital. These courses are all 25 to 30 minutes in length. They're on demand, so you can stop and go, you can rewind, you can skip around. You know this much about a business plan, but you need to know this area over here about a business plan. You can skip to that area over there and just drill down on the stuff that you want to learn through that learning center. At the end of that course, you do get a certificate for having completed that course. It's on demand, it's at your pace and at your leisure, but that certificate is something that you may want to stick in the back of your business plan. When you're talking to an investor and a lender, and the investor says, well, what do you know about social media marketing? Instead of you saying nothing, you can say, I took this course. I remember watching an episode of the Shark Tank where a lady had actually developed a product where she was putting food in jars. I think it was cookies or something like that she had come up with. And the sharks asked her, well, how did she learn all of this stuff? She said she learned it all on YouTube. And they actually funded her. So don't give up on on-demand courses and the opportunity to learn in different ways. The last two things that I'll point out for you is on the SBA website, they have a step-by-step process that they can walk you through for starting a business. It's called the guide, the 10 steps to start your own business. And it'll walk you through the things that you need to do to get a business up and running from step 1 to step 2. Step 1, let's do the market research and let's get out there and make sure that there's actually a need for your product or service in the market. And how do you do that research and what tools are available for you to do that research? And then you come back into the university here at UTA and you use the different departments at the UTA to help you with that research. And you join the different organizations and you go to EpICMavs and all those other things in other ways, and you connect with people to help you get your research done. And then after you've got your research done, then you start putting together your business plan and so forth. And then after your business plan, you start looking for funding and stuff like that. And there's literally a step-by-step process that's already laid out for you on there. And then the last thing is when you're finally ready for money and ready for funding, again, at the SBA website, they have a tool called Lender Match, right? If you're not doing investors and so forth, you can use the Lender Match and you can find out which companies which banks, which lending institutions are out there lending money in your space, in your vertical for your type of product or service. You'll actually create a profile at the SBA website in this Lender Match tool. You'll tell it all about your business and all about your financial goals and things of that nature. It will send a ping out to all of the SBA approved lenders, and a list of SBA approved lenders will be emailed to you. And from that list, you can begin to work your way through to find out where you're going to get your capital from. So with that said, that's the Veterans Business Outreach Center. Again, although my primary focus and my primary responsibility is for the military connected community with veterans and military spouses, because I'm here on the university campus, you can utilize us as a university asset to get your business up and running.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kim. I'm here representing UTA's new Center for Entrepreneurship and Economic Innovation, and I'm really pleased to tell you a little bit about the center and some of the initiatives that we've taken on and resources that we're making available to all of you through the center. What a fantastic panel I've been able to be part of today. I'm learning so much about resources that are available myself. I hope that you guys are copying the things that are in the chat box so that you can follow up on them later. So the first thing I want to tell you about the Center for Entrepreneurship and Economic Innovation, we started the center last March. So it's been about a year that we've been in our soft launch phase of getting this center up and running. It's with the support of the Texas State Legislature. So the legislature has recognized this groundswell of activity that UTA has had around entrepreneurship and economic innovation for the last decade or more, really building that momentum and realizing that we need to have some centralized space where we are focused on engaging with our entrepreneurs and our innovators and welcoming in our community to participate with them as well. So to that end, we are establishing a physical space for the center. Some of you may have already seen the signs. We're going to take over the space that's at the corner of Center Street and UTA Boulevard. It was formerly commercial space, and now we're moving in. We're working with the architects to build out a space that we think will be engaging, collaborative, really let individuals and teams come in and work on their projects together, flesh some things out. We plan to use host classes in the space as well on a regular basis, largely those that are focused on entrepreneurship or innovation in some way. We're going to host events that are UTA sponsored, as well as sponsored by a number of our partners in the community, like Capital Factory and Tech Fort Worth and others. And then we'll also have a few small incubator offices that are going to be available to UTA launched and run businesses. And we're eager to get that underway and get started. We hope that the space will be ready to move into in the middle or end of this summer in 2021. Like I said, we're working with the architects really hard to make that happen. The other thing that we've done with the center recently that I want to call your attention to is we've created a website for the center to try and coalesce a lot of the resources that are available to you as Mavericks, both at UTA and in the North Texas ecosystem. So I encourage you to visit the website. It will be in the chat box. If there's something missing from the website that you'd really like to see there, please let us know. The email address for the center is all over the website. So just click on one of those links and send us a note that lets us know what else you'd like to see on our website. We're building out a number of success cards and short vignettes about our successful entrepreneurs and innovators from UTA. So I noticed that in the chat box, somebody had asked about that. The center's website will definitely highlight several of those stories for you. You can read about them. And then we're also creating video vignettes that are 2 to 3 minutes long on a number of our faculty, students, and alumni who've created businesses of their own or done something really innovative. So you can watch them live, tell their stories about their experiences. And they highlight their participation in a number of programs like EpICMavs and Deep Dive. So you'll be able to see what they've learned from going through those processes. So one other program that I want to make sure I mention to this particular audience today is an initiative that we've taken on with the center. We've been invited to participate in the UNIV 1131 course for the fall of 2021, and we are thrilled. There's going to be a module that's offered that will be on entrepreneurship. That's going to cover entrepreneurship, design thinking, creative problem solving. It's being developed by our faculty director, Matt Clark, who is in the art and art history department. And he's working with 2 of his colleagues in a collaborative way to build this module. Farzaneh F. Takari, who is also in art and art history. She's a brand new faculty member. And Mohammed Jahanbakht, who is also a brand new faculty member in industrial engineering. So they're taking this cross-disciplinary approach to building this module that will be offered to 5,500 incoming students in the fall of 2021. Again, we are absolutely thrilled. For those of you who've taken that course, that student success course yourself, you know that the course is taught by peer academic leaders. So if you've had an interest in becoming a PAL yourself and you want to explore entrepreneurship and you want to participate in leading these classes, please reach out there. Tracy has put the website in for the PALS program so that you can check that out and learn more about it. I encourage you to do it. It's a great way to build leadership activity for your own resume as you're getting ready to leave UTA. And then the last thing that I want to share with you is the MavPitch program. So one of the great things about the Center for Entrepreneurship and Economic Innovation is that I get to tell the stories of a lot of our flagship programs that we didn't develop, but we are certainly promoting across our ecosystem. One of those is MavPitch. That's a program that is donor supported by a very generous donor to UTA who strongly believes in supporting brand new companies being started by our students. The only eligibility requirement to participate in MavPitch is that your leadership team for your company includes a current student or a very recent alumnus. That's the only eligibility requirement. MavPitch, as the name implies, is a business plan competition. And so the goal of the program is to provide awards, and these are cash awards. In the first phase of the program, you can win up to $15,000 in cash to support the launch and growth of your new company. In the second phase of the program, you can win up to $25,000 in cash. So that's up to $40,000 that you can win that will help you really launch and grow and legitimize a new business. It's a phenomenal opportunity for our students. That program is coordinated by Jeff McGee in the College of Business, as well as Robert Magnuson and Venkat Devarajan in the College of Engineering. They work together to bring this to our students every single semester. I wanted to make sure you realized that the upcoming cycle is going to be starting very soon. The deadline for MavPitch for the upcoming cycle is April 30th. That's when the 3-minute video presentations are going to be due. Those will be evaluated and down selected, and the semifinalists will be announced on May 3rd. And then the phase 1 finale, where everybody, the people that were selected to pitch, give their live pitches to the judges. Most of the judges are alumni from UTA. They're all leaders in the business community locally. They give feedback on the day during the live presentations and ask a lot of questions. And on May 8th, at the live presentation round, the awards are actually given that same evening. So it really is a dynamic, but also really supportive program where you can get, you can meet a lot of other entrepreneurs, you can get a lot of feedback, you can really get off on the right foot with this new business idea that you have. And I encourage all of you to participate in that. I will also mention, to tie this back to something Courtney told you about with Deep Dive, the way that MavPitch is set up, we actually have a pause between phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 1 is May 8th. Phase 2 will happen sometime in August. In between that period of time, Deep Dive runs. And so there's an opportunity for you in there, if you participate in the phase 1 of MavPitch, even if you don't win a prize, to participate in Deep Dive and then prepare yourself for another phase, another cycle of the MavPitch, or prepare yourself to be in phase 2 and really pitch your business in a big way. If you're interested in MavPitch, if you're thinking along these lines and you want to get involved, start hanging out at EpICMavs. Come join that conversation. They really are a lot of fun, and the students ask fantastic questions. And it's a great chance to get some early feedback and to really become part of the community. And that's all I wanted to share with you today.
Great, thank you, Kim. Thanks, everybody. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. There are a couple here in the chat. Teri, this question came up after you spoke. I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with the companies mentioned, so it may or may not be you, but anybody can join in here. Do we have some ties with the likes of Sequoia, Lightspeed, or Excel? All right, I am seeing shaking heads, so we do not have ties with those companies, unfortunately. Next question is, do we have alumni or mentors who created unicorn or billion-dollar businesses from scratch? Teri.
Okay, thanks, Jeremy. I don't know about million-dollar businesses from scratch or unicorns. I was going to talk to companies that have gone through EpICMavs and Tech Fort Worth that have had some success. I will say I'll talk about companies that went through EpICMavs that might be still going, or some might have pivoted. And I can think of a few examples right off the top of my head. We had an alum, Scott Parsonen, who participated in the first couple of cohorts of EpICMavs. Like we said, it happens every semester, every week in the fall and spring semesters. And we started this, I want to say, in the fall of 2015. So it's been going about 5 years or so. And we had an alum, Scott Parsonen, who participated in the first couple of cohorts. I mean, it's not something you have to stop attending. You can keep coming every semester. I think there's something of value every semester because we change up the topics and stuff. Scott started a dental company, Cadmus Dental, and he actually was acquired by a German company about a year ago or so. He continued to work for his dental company, and because of COVID was impacted, you know how the dental field was really impacted by, at least at the beginning, by COVID. And so he actually got a job at a company called Gazova, and Gazova is a company that was started by some UTA students. They participated in EpICMavs and Deep Dive, and they have been extremely successful. Courtney, if you have that website for Gazova, if you could drop it in the chat, that would be great. They are a company that's kind of like Uber, but they you can order a truck to help you move something, like from a store to your house or from your house to something else. And I've actually used Gazova to move a washer and dryer from a place where I purchased it to our house that my stepdaughter and her husband live in. And so it's really easy to use, and they're expanding throughout Texas, and now I think they're in some other states. And so Gazova is an example, and then another startup that's an example is Solgrow, which is a company that was started by a UTA student to develop some technology owned by UTA. So he did a license agreement through my office. He's gone through EpICMavs. He's been a client of Tech Fort Worth. He's very successfully obtained funding through various pitch competitions. He took part in Mass Challenge. He's continuing to build his business and continues to be a Tech Fort Worth client. And some other Tech Fort Worth clients that have had success, I'll name a few. A company called ZS Pharma, who was a Tech Fort Worth client, went through their programs, was acquired by AstraZeneca for $2.7 billion. That was a couple years ago. Another client, Encore Vision, went through the Tech Fort Worth programs. They were acquired by Novartis for about $500 million a couple of years ago. Some other of their clients that have recently gotten some funding, either A round or other kinds of funding, Nanoscope and IUVis, both companies that are Tech Fort Worth clients that have obtained either grant funding, federal grant funding, or some other kind of funding recently. And then I'll mention Eosera, which is a Tech Fort Worth client. Company started about 4 or 5 years ago. They offer products over the counter, starting out with products that take care of earwax impaction. They've also got products for pets to take care of earwax in pets. And they've been, you can see their CEO, Elise Dickerson, all over the place. They've been a very successful client. And that's just a few clients of Tech Fort Worth that have been extremely successful, even some from UTA. So I see some hands raised, so I'll let Courtney and Kim chime in as well. Thanks.
I just want to add to that, since Teri mentioned a few tech-based companies, we've had, her name's Ashley. She actually started out with a catering company. They were doing catering barbecue. Her company is called Dane's Barbecue. They went from just catering to opening a little food truck behind Lola's in Fort Worth, and now they're working on a brick and mortar. So she did that all through the process of going through EpICMavs, and now they've been named one of the best top 10 barbecue places in Fort Worth. So that's exciting for them. And then another example is Frankly Good, which is a vegan bakery. It's a cookie bakery, and that's really, really fun because he's got some delicious cookies that are vegan based. And a goal of a lot of our students that go through the MavPitch competition is how they can have a social impact. So a lot of those companies, we focused on social impact during Global Entrepreneurship Week, which was a week of entrepreneurial activities that we were involved with. It was held in Fort Worth, and it had a week festival of different seminars, meetings, one-on-ones, with a bunch of different organizations here in Fort Worth. So that's just a quick mention of Global Entrepreneurship Week, because I wanted to make sure we mentioned that. But I'll turn it over to Kim.
Thanks, Courtney. I'll add to that Courtney has actually posted our Global Entrepreneurship Week sessions onto our website. So I think that's on the EpICMavs website, and she'll put that link into the chat for us as well, so you can see all of the sessions. They were really terrific and featured a lot of the success stories that UTA has had recently, but also in the not too distant past. I wanted to quickly address that question earlier, Jeremy, that you brought to us from the chat box about some of the venture and capital companies and whether or not we have ties to those. Those specific companies we do not. And I think those are larger VC-based companies that are really looking to make big investments into a company. A lot of the companies that we're talking about today and the entrepreneurs that we're addressing through this brown bag are really early stage and are looking for that earlier money, things that come from business plan competitions of various sorts, and also come from angel investors. And Teri mentioned a resource, Tech Fort Worth, that's very well tied to Cowtown Angels. And that's a local investment group that is investing at a smaller scale and very appropriate for early stage, particularly technology-based companies. So there are a number of ways that we can connect you to various funding resources, some of the ones that Patrick mentioned that are grant-based or lending-based, but also angel investors and other groups. And so I didn't want to just shut the door on that and say, nope, we don't have any ties. We have a number of ties, just not to those particular companies.
All right, thanks, Kim. I'm looking at the questions here. Somebody had asked for the names of the companies to be shared in the chat, and that's been done now, so thank you for that. Let's see. Not seeing any other ones, I guess we will go ahead and call it a day. So thank you to Teri and Kim and Patrick and Courtney for sharing your wisdom and your insights. Make sure you check the links in the chat or the Q&A because there's a lot of good information there. There's ways to find more in-depth information about the stuff that they've already talked about. Our next virtual brown bag is this Friday at noon. It'll be Dr. Warda Ashraf from the Civil Engineering Department. She's going to talk about the secrets of ancient Roman construction materials. So, excuse me, really interesting stuff. We try to keep it a wide range of research and items that we talk about in the virtual brown bags. So again, thanks very much to our panelists. Thanks very much for you that attended and asked great questions, and we'll see you again soon.